This is the first 15 minutes of an interview conducted by members of the Charleston Gazette Editorial Board with Democratic Senate President and Acting Governor Earl Ray Tomblin, a gubernatorial candidate in the West Virginia special election of 2011. Also present at the meeting were Don Miller, editorial page editor, who opened the meeting, Jim Haught, editor, Rob Byers, executive editor, Greg Moore, city editor, Vic Burkhammer, news editor, and Phil Kabler, Statehouse reporter, Lawrence Pierce, Gazette photographer, Tomblin's campaign spokesman, Chris Stadelman, observed.
I would like you to give us a minute or two on why you're running for governor, and then we'll do questions and discussion.
Okay, well, the reason I'm running for governor is to continue the progress that we've made in West Virginia, and I think that we're one of those states right now that others across the country are looking at and is wondering what's going on here. We're proud of the fact that we end up this year again with over $300 million surplus, and that's one of a handful of states that's done that across the country. And shortly after the end of the fiscal year, we're very pleased to hear that Fitch's, one of the three bond rating agencies, once again gave West Virginia an upgrade in our bond ratings, and it's up to a AA plus right now. That's the highest our rating's been in West Virginia for at least 30 years now, I think. And that happens at the same time that many other states, most other states, are being downgraded on their bonds. But obviously, we're proud of the fact that we have, I guess I should say, back up and say that I can sympathize with many of the other states, 47 of them out there, because back in the 1980s when I became the Senate Finance Chair, we were basically in the same shape in West Virginia. And for those who were around at that time can remember that we weren't paying our bills. Our teachers' retirement system was within probably 90 days of not being able to send out the monthly checks to our retirees. Our public employees insurance card was virtually worthless. The employees had to pay up front and then hopefully get their money reimbursed whenever possible. And our personal income tax refunds would sometimes take up to a year to get back. And so that's when we decided we was going to change the way we were doing business in West Virginia. And that's when we put ourselves on the payout plan for our teachers' retirement system, and started paying exactly what the actuaries said we should each year. And just to give you an example, I think that first year that I was finance chair, the governor had at the time had recommended an $18 million employer contribution to the teachers' retirement system. Every year, just about every year that since we've went on the plan, we've been paying over $200 million a year, and that's into nearly 20 years now. And this past year, we put over $400 million into it. One of the other things that I'm proud that we did is back before the recession started, most all the states were doing very well because the stock market was doing very well. We were all getting big returns and so forth. And when we were having those huge surpluses out there and working with then Governor Manchin, rather than starting new programs and making a lot of permanent or ongoing expenditures, we took that surplus and paid down in lump sums down on our liability, especially with our teachers' retirement system. There was that about a 13 or 15 month period of time where we put over $1 billion toward the principal. Obviously, those things have been very helpful as far as getting our bond rating up. Our rainy day fund is considered one of the best in the entire country. During the recession, almost all of the states have had to, the ones that had rainy day funds, had to use their funds in order to balance their budget, and we in West Virginia did not have to do that. Obviously, we also had a workers' compensation program in West Virginia that was bankrupt, and we tried, after several attempts to fix it, we finally ended up privatizing workers' comp. And in the last 5 years, our workers' compensation rates on businesses has declined by about 47%, which is a very positive thing when you're trying to attract businesses to the state of West Virginia. We're also proud of the fact that for the last at least 16 years, we've not had to raise any general taxes in the state of West Virginia. And that goes just the opposite way of what most other states have had to do in the last 3 or 4 years because of their budgets. One of the complaints we used to always get from business was the high corporate net income tax that we had in West Virginia, higher than our surrounding states. We're now in the process of taking that from 8.5% down to 6.5%, which will make us competitive with our surrounding sister states. Also, we're set to phase out the business franchise tax in 2015, and just recently we were able to craft a responsible plan to eliminate the sales tax on food in West Virginia. Obviously, that's one of the things that really can benefit our seniors who are on fixed incomes and a lot of our young families out there who are fighting hard to make ends meet. And it also helps the businesses in our border counties who have had to compete with businesses across the border where they had no sales tax on food. So those are the kind of things that we have been able to put together in the last several years. And contrary to what others out on the campaign line may say, I think that experience and history and showing what we've been able to do to move this state forward is a very positive thing. Now we're starting to get inquiries from businesses that in the past would not have looked at West Virginia, and to throw Macy's out there as an example, where they looked at over 150 sites nationwide on where to put their new distribution center, and they finally chose West Virginia. And the main reason was just they tell us is the stability in their state government, the fact that it looks like there are not going to have to be huge tax increases on them and so forth, and obviously we've got a good workforce in this state. We've got a good community college system, and in their case, Blue Ridge Community and Technical College will be training their employees when they get their operation open with those nearly 2,000 jobs a year from now. So they are under construction. We got a lot more businesses looking to come to West Virginia right now, and I think it's very positive for us when you got a major national or international company like Macy's that has decided to come here. It really gets the other businesses going, well, if something must be going on there, if Macy's chose to go there, it would be a good reason maybe we should look at West Virginia. And of course, you know, you can look at Amazon in Huntington. I was just in Huntington earlier today, and in the last 2 or 3 weeks, this huge building has gone up, but their major call center is located there. You look at Alcon in the Huntington area, just announced a few weeks ago that they're expanding by 300 additional jobs in the state of West Virginia, and that's a business that's been here for 30 years that makes ocular lenses. And it's happening, you know, in different types of businesses, but it's happening all around the state of West Virginia. The other thing is, I feel very positive about our state as far as the possibilities for Marcellus Shale, the drilling that's going on in West Virginia, and in particular the use of the byproduct and the possibilities of getting at least one and hopefully 2 crackers in the state of West Virginia. We've had negotiations, or not negotiations, but meetings with several interested parties. They're willing to come here, and I think that can really revitalize our chemical and manufacturing jobs in this state. I think that you know, obviously Kanawha County is one of those places they're looking to put a cracker, and as well as one up in the northern part of the state. But I feel very optimistic that we will be able to get, as I said, at least one, and I feel strongly that we'll be able to get 2 of the crackers, which will create thousands of jobs in the state.
So somebody's building a $500 million gas processing plant up at Natry, right above New Martinsville.
Right.
I thought, wow, we got the cracker at last. That's not a cracker.
That is a separator. That's Dominion Gas that's building that one up there. I think it's, but anyhow.
But it won't crack anything.
It doesn't crack. It separates the gas from the byproduct or the waste product, that being ethane, I think. There's a lot of, and trust me, I'm not an expert. I know enough to be dangerous about it. But there are several gases that's in there. But the one most often talked about is ethane. And then you put that through the cracker, as I understand it, and it turns that into ethylene. And these are basically, you know, the 50 basic building blocks of the plastic industry. So I can't go any farther than that. But that's basically, you know, what the chemical plants use out there. I've talked to, you know, one of the other plants, and they are interested in extracting I think propane and another gas out of there too. So there are several gases, that's in the Marcellus shale gas that will be, including propane, that will be separated out, and the other chemical plants are looking, at going a different route as far as using some of the waste products. So, I think that the fact that we do have a pipeline infrastructure in place in West Virginia is a very positive thing for us, and especially one running from the northern part to Kanawha County here. We have a group right now with the Marcellus to Manufacturing Task Force group that I put together back in February, who is doing an inventory, to see the condition of the pipes and so forth. But the real positive thing about it is the fact that the right-of-ways are already in place out there. So, that will save a whole lot of time as far as, getting the they call it feedstock from one place to the other by having the right-of-ways already owned by certain companies and the pipelines in many cases already in place out there. Another thing we've commissioned a study is to look at underground storage for the ethylene. And obviously once you get these crackers, and they are all over $1 billion investment each, you've got to have a steady supply at all times. So basically the theory is if the feedstock can be stored underground, then in case one of the plants or the wells, or for some if there would be some interruption in the pipeline, that there will be a steady source of feedstock there to continue the cracker operating.
Regarding that Amazon headquarters in Huntington, California's in a horrible battle with Amazon right now, trying to force it to pay state sales tax on all the orders that are shipped into the state. Mm-hmm. And a lot of those University of Tennessee estimates said West Virginia loses 25 million or 35 million a year because we do not collect sales tax on all the catalog orders and 1-800 telephone orders and internet orders that are all coming into West Virginia. If we crack down, will Amazon pull out its Huntington operation, or will California finally beat them and will automatically get this extra $30 million bucks, or what?
Let me just say that I think Amazon is very happy with their current relationship in Huntington and with West Virginia.
Does that mean happy because they're not paying any
taxes? No, I think that I know that they have that battle there, mm-hmm. But as far as I know, they have not asked West Virginia to change their law the way they did it, and I know they did it in South Carolina too. And South Carolina did not, change their law. It's my understanding, but I don't think that question has been put to our development office in West Virginia. Let me just say that any company that has I'm sure you know this, a nexus or a place of business. For example, Cabela's has a retail store here, and soon have another one here in Southridge. But any online or catalog sales that you would buy from Cabela's, as an example, the company is required to collect the sales tax if you're a West Virginia resident and submit it. Obviously, if you buy from a catalog that does not have a nexus in West Virginia, by law, as a citizen, you're supposed to file use tax or pay use tax to the state. Now, trying to enforce that is a whole different animal, but that's what the law says now.
That's Charlie Lawrence said about that.
Charlie Lawrence, when it goes how far it goes back there, absolutely.
Would you support the Obama health care plan?
Right now, as far as the National Health Care Plan is, what we're doing is getting ready for those timelines, as far as the exchanges goes and so forth. And because, it's my understanding, well, first of all, let me say, I think, the bill was put together very quickly, and I think that it may, need some tweaking, just as they did recently by requiring employers to issue 1099 for each employee for the insurance that they got. They repealed that section of it, and they may continue. But I've instructed our departments, to get ready for the timelines as they come.